Monday, y'all. It's Monday. Work on music. I love how singing. Meditation room theme. Hey, y'all. Happy Monday. Welcome to Mondays in the Meditation Room. But this is our special fourth Monday edition. I'm going to go ahead and bring them up. I ain't going to wait. Come on. Hey.
Hey.
I gotta close that door. What's up? I have not mastered that whole turning the music off and then getting back on, because when you play it from within the thing, it's a little louder. You can't talk and play it at the same time.
Yeah.
So let's start all over. Hey, it's Monday. Happy Monday. It is the fourth Monday in February. Welcome to Fourth Mondays in the Meditation Room with the Hazes. Yay.
Yay.
The biggest Midlife Marriage Conversations. And so we're welcoming into this sacred space Dr. K's husband. Woo! Gotta get a clap track.
Right.
Say all of that and, think I'm doing something special and important. So welcome, y'all. This is normally our Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings, where we are redefining midlife. We are reimagining, reigniting, rediscovering all of the above, and deciding that in this season in our lives, it is going to be the best season in our lives. And we are not giving in to the crisis nor the negativity, but we are going to create the life that we want in this second half of our life. And we are empowering ourselves through the pause. We are learning how to thrive. And so it is all things empowerment and enlightenment for Black women in midlife experiencing the pause. And on fourth Mondays, this is Midlife Marriage Conversations because it's necessary.
Yo.
So go ahead and get your boo, get your bae, call your friends and call them up and tell them to join us, tag, like, follow us on the YouTube channel as well, and come on in the room.
Y'all don't want to miss this tonight.
Woo! Last month was amazing. And that I don't know if we can go 4 weeks to continue the conversation, because it is
right.
And it's amazing. Hey, Kel Hugs, Facebook user, you have to identify yourself because it didn't come up. So welcome. Go ahead and hit us up in the comments. Let us know that you're here, who you are. We are glad that you are here. We're not going to be on long because we want you to have the rest of your evening and to find your place of rest, maybe have a conversation or whatever it is you need to do on this Monday evening as we prepare to close out Black History Month, Love Month, all of
That's
the
right. I love this month.
If you have a birthday in the month of February, happy birthday. If you're celebrating an anniversary, happy anniversary. And I said that just in time when the Facebook user identified herself. It's Melody Rose Powell Boone, who had a birthday in February. Happy birthday,
Happy
Boone.
birthday.
An amazing birthday. So we are on because we are having some midlife marriage conversations. And last month we talked about the mayhem that happens in the midst of midlife marriage and experiencing the pause and all of the above. So I love it. Mel just said, hey, Harold.
Can't nobody say Harold like my sis. Can't nobody say that.
That is funny. Oh man. So I just want to ask this question. I don't know if y'all saw my latest post on IG and Facebook, not just the one that we're talking about on tonight, Uh, but the one that I posted, I said, "Did y'all see this?" I said, "Did y'all see this?" I was laughing so hard at myself because I realized one day last week um, that I put earrings on and wasn't paying attention. And then later on, not till middle of the day, I looked in the mirror and I had on two. I had on two
What?
pair of earrings. I was like, why do I have on two pair of earrings?
I don't
Because
get
I
it.
had put on some earrings, and then before I could finish getting dressed, I put on another pair of earrings and
In
didn't
the
even
same
realize
hole,
I done it. So I was walking around with two pair of earrings. I was like, what? And I was
blame it
like,
on the pause. Blame it
this,
on the pause.
I said, this doggone brain fog and menopause and memory lapses. It don't even, I mean, I had no like recollection that I had already put earrings on and my ears are pierced and so they weren't big. So I just kind of slipped it in and I somehow it went in without any problem. It didn't hurt. So I didn't even think about it. I didn't even look in the mirror again till later on. And I'm like,
That's crazy.
oh
I love it.
my God.
And you know what's beautiful? You can laugh at it.
I, and that was the thing that I put in the post. You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. It's a good thing we don't roll over and wake up and forget we married. And be like, hey, who are you? Why, why you in my bed?
Oh my God. You know, we laughing, but I'm sure there are cases, probably recorded cases. I'm sure.
Yeah, so last time we were in the meditation room, we were talking about the mayhem that happens in midlife marriages because of menopause and andropause and all of that. And we were talking about how the percentages of midlife divorces were rising. They say they're kind of evening out, but it alarmingly grew to the percentage of persons getting divorced in during midlife. And we kind of talked about because it's challenging, because you're really not talking about it, and most times you aren't even aware of what's actually going on with you, and
Mhm.
things begin to happen and you can grow apart, and before you know it, it's easier to quit than to fight when you don't know what you're fighting and what you're fighting for.
Wow.
And so today we're talking about love and transition. Like, how do you continue to love when you're in the midst of a transition, which you are in midlife? And a transition is literally a change or shift from one state of being to another.
Yep.
And you're literally changing. And what I don't know if we said it last week, but what I was thinking about is that your marriage is changing. And that's not
E-
necessarily a
e-
bad thing.
Yeah, everything is changing, and it's not bad at all. As far as change is not change is not bad. You know, change is the most constant thing that is always happening.
Hmm.
How we interpret the change.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, change is not bad, but it's how we interpret the change and how we define it and what we name it and what we call it.
Hmm.
That is the challenge in this transition, because um, I have had to evolve with you and grow to call it something else
Mm.
that is positive and affirming and not fatalistic.
Hmm. But some of the articles and stuff I was reading in preparation for tonight, that was one of the things that they said, um, to be willing to rename it, and not even call midlife a crisis, or that you're going through a crisis. They were saying don't even call it that.
Midlife miracle.
Oh, love that. Write it down. Because it is, because it's a miracle that you.
Midlife miracle.
Oh, I'm running down.
Midlife miracle.
It's a midlife miracle. Because
And
but
now it's a midlife miracle. We are still married.
it
Going
is a miracle.
on 40 years. In fact, y'all, sweetheart, did you find out yet? I mean, we just celebrated my going over yesterday. You went over either 2 days or 3 days later, and it's only 28 to 29 days in
It has to
February.
be. It had to be two days because it's not
Okay,
today. I know it's not today. So
okay, that's
either
cool.
tomorrow or Wednesday.
Oh my God. No, we are trying to we are trying to encourage my wife to remember a certain date so then we can have an excuse to really celebrate because that particular date is of great importance because
Yeah,
it will mark for us 42 years. We're going on 40 years of marriage, but it will mark 42 years that we became an item.
right.
We became Harold and Kelly, or like the folks said at Hampton, Helly and Carol.
Yeah, it marks the time when we start dating. So yeah, so
It's
I'll
so it's either going to be tomorrow
for Wednesday.
or Wednesday, and all my wife has to do is make a phone call, and
Yeah.
just y'all ask me how long I've been asking her to make that phone call. Y'all just ask me. Put
I
that.
keep forgetting. I keep forgetting. All right. So, y'all, this is such a wonderful conversation to have because the question, I mean, the thing is, not only it's not your marriage necessarily that's changing, it's the two individuals that are in the marriage that are changing.
Right.
That causes the marriage relationship to change.
Yeah.
And you can be in that so unaware that things start happening and you don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to mitigate it. You don't know how to shift or change or allow. And nobody really talks.
Wow.
First of all, the conversation that we're normalizing is the whole conversation about menopause and andropause. So that was not a conversation that was had between a lot of women and the women before them, or men and the men before them. And so if you are not used to having those conversations about that season of your life, you certainly aren't having conversations about how it can impact your marriage and what to do.
You're so right because the first time I ever heard the word andropause was from a book.
I think you heard it from me.
Josh,
I was looking
Joshua,
at waiting to see what kind of face he's
uh,
gonna.
Joshua is right. Joshua says about my wife, he said, Dad, mom's always right. No, she claims she's always right about everything. She knows everything. I said, she does, son.
I think you heard it from me.
Really, baby?
I think so.
Really, sweetheart?
Yes.
So I didn't read it
You
in
read
the
it in the
book.
book after I said something.
Oh God.
That's that.
Y'all pray for us.
So but I'm saying we cannot actually um talk about the importance of this enough, or emphasize the importance of it enough, because as individuals in the marriage, most of us don't even know or acknowledge or are aware of the shift that's happening in our spirit, soul, minds, and bodies at that time. And
Right.
and we feel some kind of way about it. So we often keep it to ourselves. We keep our frustrations and
Oh my God.
those frustrations and fears, and we keep them to ourselves. And that's um, dangerous as well. So we really don't we don't know what's going on with us. Our spouse doesn't know what's going on with us, and there's no communication.
Watch this. And many doctors are
And
not sensitive and don't know, and they have a low awareness of what's going on.
Mhm.
They're not aware enough to say, "Hey, how old are you?"
Right.
They're not aware enough to begin to ask you the right questions to
Mhm.
then stimulate greater inquiry
Mhm.
in that vein, in that track.
Mhm.
They're all over on the other side, but they're not having the right conversation with you because they're not aware enough themselves or sensitized enough themselves. And Lord knows, don't let it be a young doctor.
Oh man.
They're clueless.
Mhm.
Uh,
True.
and, 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 so I have a young urologist. I have a young, um, a young doctor. I guess, what's that? What we call her? Primary care young doctor. And so we're all proud to have these doctors, but there is a level of insight, wisdom, and sensitivity that's lacking in the medical field when you are not dealing with a um, uh,
A
um,
seasoned physician.
yeah, physician who knows not just about it theoretically, but they might be in it too.
Mhm. It's a generational gap.
Yep, big generational gap.
Mhm. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw out some things to you and to everybody that's watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. One of the articles I read listed some of the things that's happening with persons who are in midlife and they don't really know how to process it. Like one, and this is individuals. Her name is Dr. Linda Span. This is her take on what can happen to persons in midlife that could cause challenges for your marriage. One, she says, unhappiness with life and the lifestyle that may have provided them with happiness for many years. Did y'all get that? Unhappiness with life and the lifestyle that may have provided them with happiness for many years in the past. Now, all of a sudden, there's
no,
unhappiness with
right. It doesn't make them happy anymore.
mhm,
Yeah.
boredom with people and things that may have been of interest to them before.
Woo!
That's something that we don't talk about often, but in our studies and as we've talked before, boredom can be a dangerous thing when you don't recognize it as such and don't talk about it.
The alternate reality called bored.
Yep. Feeling a need for adventure and change. And all of this is normal as you are transitioning into another season in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Questioning the choices that they've made for their lives and the validity of decisions that they made years before. Whew, that's that whole regret piece. Confusion about who they are and where they are going. Whew, no.
Yeah, this is love in transition.
Mhm. Anger at their spouse and blame for feeling tied down.
Yeah. I
Ooh,
want to be free. Yeah, remember that song?
oh yeah. I wanna be free. That
Hey.
was the Ohio Players, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That look, that tells you we in midlife, right?
Right.
Coming to the end of midlife too. The Ohio Players. I wanna be
Oh,
uh, unable to make decisions about where they want to go with their life. Wow.
my.
Here's a deep one. Doubt that they ever loved their spouse and resentment over the marriage.
Yep. Yeah.
And that one is is true, but the challenge with that is they begin questioning that only because they've been dealing with all the stuff prior to that I just listed.
Right. So there has to be a reason why I'm unhappy.
Right. And so you begin to question, I probably didn't love them in the first place. I shouldn't even marry the first. We
Right.
go all the way, we get, that her hyperbole, we just
We
take it from
swoop.
one end of the spectrum all the way
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
you begin to question that, but that's not really the issue.
It's not the issue, but you're searching. You're panically. You're in panic mode, searching for why am I so unhappy?
Yep. And the last one she has is a desire for a new and passionate, intimate relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because over the years, those things can wane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not the same, or it's not to the same level. And a lot of times, I don't think it's necessarily intentional on either of the spouse's part. But when you let life you, and you've lost some luster for life in general, you lose it for that. And then when you are not sure on how to put it in the proper perspective, then that's when a lot of times infidelity happens, because they think, okay, I need something new, I need something more this is not working, I need something
Right,
more
right, right.
and new, instead of saying, how do we rekindle it? It's like it's over, there's no hope for it, so I just need something new.
Yeah.
Right.
The addiction to new.
Mhm. Oh man, that's good. The addiction to something new. Look, Mel, like she said, do you love me? The question and check one, yes, no, or maybe.
That's old school. Mel, you just dated yourself.
But like we used to do it back then when love was new and when we wanted it and we were chasing it. That's the thing we used to say to the intended. But maybe we need to bring that back. Bring that. We used to have those papers, and I don't know how we used to fold
Yeah,
them. We would
yeah.
put answers in there, and we would go like this, and then they would stop, and we'd say, "Pick one." Open. Man,
Man, that was 100 years ago. Wow. Yeah,
and
yeah.
so those things are real, and we have to not be afraid to look at them clear eyed, because just because you look at them and ask those questions doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or wrong with your marriage. It just means that you're at a crossroads in transition in midlife to create something different and altogether more beautiful for the second half of your life.
We are, as we're Kelly, as we're approaching our 40th, we've been talking about the possibility of renewing our vows.
Mhm. Oh,
And
I'm sorry. She said that was Sonya, not me. Yes, Sonya, you old too. She my little cousin, but she old too.
okay, that's right. You right in the pocket, right in the pocket. So we're talking. We did it at 25, at our 25th anniversary. We renewed our vows. We're talking about doing it again at our 40th. Ceremonially, that's wonderful. But what must happen before that is we have to renew our value.
Mm. Say it again. Say it again. I got to write that down.
Yeah, we it was
We need
ceremonially.
some retirement money. I wish you would write this book so we can. Yes.
I mean, we ceremonially, all that is wonderful, renewing the vows. But we have to renew our values.
Break that down a little bit more. Unpack that.
So, over a period of time, when you've been with the same person, you've been through so much ups and downs, ins and outs, and you have exhausted the vows. The vows are for better, for worse, rich for poor, and sickness and health till death do us part. Well, if you have been in a relationship where you have been at both extremes, the better and the worse, the
Mm.
richer and the poor, the
Mm-hmm.
sickness and the health. When you have been at both extremes of every one of those vows, your bandwidth it becomes thin, and
Mm.
it becomes exhaustive to even continue in the relationship without some kind of renewal of your values. What do we now value? What is now important individually? What do I value as a person individually for my own self health?
That's so good.
And then what do we value now as a couple, and be open to renew values that are new?
Mm,
You have the foundation of, we made the commitment, because after a while you move from love based upon feeling to
mhm,
love based upon decision. And that is actually mature love, when
mhm,
you're loving because you choose.
mhm.
And so once you realize you are willing to choose again, you are at a different level. So your values have changed.
Mhm.
You're not the same person, and your spouse is not the same person when you got married 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 25 years ago. And
Mhm.
so there must be not just a planning to renew the vows, and you say them in front of your family and friends, and they're like, oh, no. Before you get there, there
Mhm.
must be a intentional coming together, getting away from all the noise of life, and tell each other what's valuable without being judged.
Wow, that's good. So,
Without being judged, because what's valuable, what I consider valuable to me now, might not be the same as it was 42 years ago.
wow, that is exceptional. That's real exceptional insight. And we need to unpack that and really take some time to teach that, because you really, by the time you get 40, you need to be writing your own vows, writing something
Come
completely
on, come on.
reflective of
You
where
should,
you are.
sweetheart, you swung for the fence. You knocked out the park. You don't need to be quoting somebody else's vows. You need to be writing your own.
Hmm.
And that will be birthed out of renewing your values.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was so good. So what would you say is an example of a new value or discovered through your inner work? Because that's the other thing we have to talk about, that each person in the relationship needs to be doing that inner work on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say would be one of those new values for you? Because you were clear to state, and I think that's important, that what's a new value for me now in this stage.
Yeah. So let me just help. Let me just give my Harold's version of the word value, what that means.
Hmm.
Meaning, what is now important to me.
Right.
Yeah. So when we're renewing our values, where it is a result of your own self discovery of what's really important to you now.
Hmm.
Um, um, Maybe, and I'm just using this as an example with a little bit of comedy.
Hmm.
Maybe when we first got married, because it was modeled before me, it was very important to me that it didn't matter whether both of us going out to work. What was important to me is that you came home and you cooked because I was your man.
Hmm.
That's not important to me anymore.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? That's if that's not a deal breaker, that's not going to create an argument.
Hmm.
That's not going to make me question whether you love me or
Yeah.
not, or whether I married a good woman or not. That's just not that's not important. Um, um, it, what is important for me is, hey, boo, you hungry? Yeah, me too. Where you want to go?
Hmm.
That's important. It's important to me to step out of the house, get in the car, and me and you drive somewhere. And if it's a nice day, I put the top down,
Hmm.
and you're not complaining about how cold it is, and 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 your hair, as
Hmm.
long as it is, will be blowing in the wind, and we're just happy to go to
Honey
oh,
girl.
honey grow. You said it. You're married. You knew that's what I was thinking about.
Mhm.
So that's important. And so it's important for you, which you do now know, it's important for me that you know that that's important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So now what's valuable to me, what's important to me is that you know what's important to me and that you're interested in knowing what's important to me and you will ask me.
Mm-hmm.
That. So for me, what's important to me now is that she's interested in what's important and valuable and of value to me. And she will not just assume she knows, but she will ask and she will wait and not cut across and tell me and let me tell her what that is.
I need to drink some water on that
I knew you was gonna drink some water on that one.
one.
Uh,
That was good.
because it's so easy to start, and both male and females in the marriage, it's so easy to just take each other for granted and think we know each other, and we don't. We're clueless. I mean, there are marriages where the spouses are living totally different lives outside of each other, and they are clueless that that's happening.
Yep. So, of course, one of the things that we like to do is provide some um, tools or ideas or thoughts and skills. So, I want to one of the five. Well, actually, we have more than that, but one of the things that I thought was so good was you have to come outside of your comfort zone and get curious. It's kind of a two-parter because
Yeah,
one is you have to come outside of your comfort zone. You have to get outside of your comfort zone for your marriage to grow and evolve in this transition. One,
yeah.
it was funny that you would say that about me being cold when you want to put the top down and ride around. So when you want to do that, so now what I when you say we can go somewhere and it's in the summertime or whatever, but and it's cold. So now I just bring what a blanket. And,
Y'all, she brings up. She looked like Mother Mary
oh
going to
man,
the cross to
uh,
support Jesus. She has. She
we
got
just have
blankets. She got.
to pause for a minute.
Hey, sweetheart, I got the image. You got everything. You're like this. Oh Lord.
I had to because and it was both in because there's some days that he'll say, "Oh Lord, okay," and he won't put the top down,
Right.
or I've tried it and it's just too much air, wind, cold,
And
whatever,
I just say, never mind, baby.
and he'll pull the top back. But then what I do, then my part coming out of my comfort zone was to just bring a blanket and a hat. So because I know he can tolerate it. And sometimes it's during the day in the summer and it is hot. And I having hot flashes cannot be dealing with no hot sun beaming down on me. So I will bring a hat so the sun is not on me if it's too hot, or I'll bring a blanket and a hat so I can be comfortable and warm. And that's the part. So that's coming outside of your comfort zone to
Wow.
be
So
okay.
good. So good.
And then the second part was, and be curious. And I was like, get curious. It says, stop pointing out all the upsetting things that your spouse is doing. Instead, ask them to tell you what's going on in their head and
I
really,
love that. I love that.
and then ask more questions out of curiosity.
Do you
Because,
know? And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying because your spouse is changing and so are you.
Yeah. And the last thing you need, any spouse needs, is blame or judgment or or adding to them already feeling like something's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like why you walking so slow? What's wrong with you? If they're walking slow, something is wrong.
Right.
If they grunting while they going up the stairs, Something is changing.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, can I get a boom shakalaka laka out there?
Boom.
I mean, come on.
Shakalaka.
You said boom shakalaka. So I mean, that's so good, sweetheart. I mean, just ask, hey, what's happening with you? But without the energy of, oh, this is bugging me. What's wrong with you now?
Mm-hmm.
What's
Mm-hmm.
wrong with you now?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is so good. And that requires some inside work and a lot of patience, right? So
Yeah,
that is so important. What is important to me now? And that's why it's so important to get curious so you can ask that question. Before, we didn't know to ask that question. We didn't even know it was important. We didn't even know that our values changed. We didn't even have a name for our values. We just did stuff. We were who we were based on our family of origin and our experiences, and most of our values, here's the kicker, most of our values are subconscious.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
We don't even know we believe what we
And
believe.
when you talk about subconscious, that means you're operating automatic on your own
Yep.
automatic. Yeah.
Yep.
And
We don't.
all we know,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, okay. All we know.
All we know to say to our spouses, I just don't feel the same way that I used to. And and we don't do enough research to find out why.
Hmm.
We just leave it at that and put a period instead of a comma.
Hmm. And I would have to say, for those of us who are churched,
Oh, we got church people in here. Oh my lord! I, I, I'm
I
sorry. I
don't know
talked.
if you do. I'm
I,
just saying.
I mentioned Ohio Players song.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Look, don't
You ain't
don't
tell me you ain't tell me you had church people on this.
that's part of the problem. But being churched, though, can sometimes create a barrier because we're in our heads thinking we shouldn't be feeling like that. We shouldn't be thinking this thought. We shouldn't be feeling this way. Let me just go pray and it's going to go away. Let me praise over it. Let me shout over it. It's going to change it. It's going to fix it. And not have to put in the hard, painful work.
Midlife miracle season is not a. Y'all not gonna like this. Oh, they gonna tune out when I say this. My brothers and my sisters, it is not a. We're not cursed by God. The hot flashes are not from the devil, even though it's hot.
That's spiritual bypass. We
Your,
make
your, your, your low testosterone, you won't just simply be able to rebuke uh,
the devil.
the devil.
Dana Klein said, Pastor is so worldly. Then she got that.
uh, yeah, she right. I mean, what is challenging is we must read, we must discuss, we must search and seek and find out what is going on. I remember, when we were in school and this was middle school, sixth grade, we literally had health classes talking about, puberty. And because things were happening and it was great to find out, what was going on. I was appreciative to find out about wet dreams. Okay, y'all can't handle that. I'm sorry. I can't.
In
Because because
anything to
because they were happening, and that was like, at least I kind of knew what was coming down the pike, and when it came down the pike, I was like, oh,
that's what
okay.
that is.
So but we were educated,
Mhm. But
and the
could you
education
imagine?
prepared us to accept the change that was happening in our young bodies.
Well, guess what? Menopause and andropause is nothing but another puberty thing happening at a different level in
On a
age.
whole nother level.
That's basic. Could you
It's
imagine?
saying it's
And
saying
that has happened to women. Could you imagine getting your period for the first time and nobody had ever talked to you about it?
Woo! You think you dying.
You think you dying. And it's a miracle that any of us have survived a lot of these things in our lives because there was no overt conversation about it
Yeah.
to prepare you
Yeah.
to a
So
certain degree.
so you know, the midlife miracle is saying the portion of your life where you would be reproducing and being fruitful, that season, that season is now over.
Coming to an end.
It's coming to an end, and it's not coming to an end because you did something wrong or you were sinful or you're cursed of God. It's coming to an end because uh, greater contribution to this human life experience is on the horizon in a whole different way, on a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we are learning how to welcome it without planning for a funeral.
Yep. Because this is not the season for that. We've been taught that it is because the whole culture, definitely the westernized culture, is not necessarily that way in Eastern culture.
Westernized culture only celebrates youth.
We are obsessed. Well, I won't say we, but they are obsessed with youth and anti-aging.
Yep.
So it keeps us in denial instead of embracing it and learning how to work with your body, learning how to make
Go
sure
with the flow.
you go with the flow and make sure it's as optimally healthy as possible in this stage of your life. And the fact that aging is not a like you said, a death sentence, and is not negative. We age a certain way because we don't put any positive emphasis on aging, because a lot of the things that happen to us
Because
as
we're fighting aging.
we as we age, um a lot of that, the things that we go through physically, guess what, the new research and reading says that's not that's not inevitable.
Right. Right.
That we make it inevitable, but it is not. I don't know if
Right.
you.
We associate certain things with aging and they might be bad lifestyle choices.
But there it is, bad lifestyle choices that we didn't employ as we were younger, and they were seeing a lot of the joint pains, the muscle pains,
That's
the chronic diseases and illnesses
bad lifestyle choices. Yeah.
based on lifestyle choices, not just aging. That you
Right.
don't have to necessarily be frail, weak, and sick as you get older.
Right. That's not a symptom of aging.
That's a symptom of choices.
Choices.
Good God, I'm sorry. And nobody really tells us that. So if our mindset is, oh Lord, I'm over a certain age, so I'm gonna be this, then that's how you
Right.
you
And
create
then the
create
thing is you accept the symptoms of bad life choices as a part of getting old.
mm-hmm,
And as a person thinketh,
mm-hmm. So are they.
so are they.
So we're trying to flip the switch on all of that, and in particular in marriage, to challenge ourselves, because that list can happen, and if you don't have anything to counter it, to change your thinking, then that can happen. So it just like one of the other things is, when I love that, review our value and not just our vows, and know what we value and know that your values can, excuse me, change over time. One of the things they said to also do is communication and expectations. That do you talk about the things you need to talk about, and in particular, what your expectations are.
Right. Yeah, we are absolutely married because that was the one thing I wrote down. to talk about tonight is that we must revisit, sweetheart, we've done this for 1,000 premarital couples where we ask them, put on a piece of paper right in front of us, maybe 5 expectations you might have, and then they write it down, and then they switch and they look at what their spouse, as they're about to enter into marriage, what their expectations are. Now, when we renew our values, revisit our values, review our values, it's time to do that again, because your expectations over a period of time in marriage have changed. Sometimes drastically.
Yep. And that could be from life.
And your spouse is ignorant of the drastic change. But they feel it, they sense it, but they don't, you have not articulated it. And so there's a need to come back to that table of expectation, because when we're facilitating premarital counseling, it's a table of expectation. They're expecting. And so to get married, they have a date. Well, let's talk about after that date, what are your expectations? Now it's times we got a date for our 40th wedding anniversary. Now it's time for us to come back to the table of expectation. What do we expect after the renewal of those vows?
For the second half of our life.
Come on now.
What does that look like? That's the last one. Was not the last one. So we are apparently going to have to do part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. But the thing was to reimagine what your life can look like going forward.
Man, I love that when we did that in the car. When we did in the car one time, we were waiting for my phone to be uploaded. I got a new phone, and they said, it's going to take an hour. So they were like, what do you want to do? I was like, no, do it right then, right here, right now in the store. My wife and I will run and get something to eat, and we'll be back. And so we took out time in the car, and we just took turns saying, I am imagining ... Man, that was so therapeutic, because I was hearing your heart, and you was hearing mine. And some of the things we were saying was right in sync with one another, and synergistically we were already there. And then some were new, exciting things I was hearing, and new exciting things I was saying to you that you were like, okay. Yeah.
Yep. That's good.
That's a wonderful exercise, reimagining.
So you're literally, because you're restoring hope and giving each other something positive to look forward to.
Absolutely.
That, not to saying our best days are behind me, so we just gonna prepare to send some rocking chairs and rock. That's not what's getting ready to happen. This is what we want.
Baby, do you know what we just did just 3 months ago? We zip lined.
Right.
We ATV through in a new, across the water in Costa Rica, in a new culture. But we didn't even do that when we were young.
Nope. You rode a horse.
I rode a horse.
First of all, I want to say that we survived the climb to get to the zip line.
Oh no, don't depress me, because that I can't believe. Melody, can you believe we climbed to the heights to then zip line? Yep. Well, no, what was deep was we climbed to do the first zip line, and then we found out we had to keep going to go to the next zip line, and we did 7 of them. That's crazy. But we did that at 61 years old, sweetheart.
That's what I was going to say. Adventure and trying new things and doing new things are not just for people that are young. You need them more now than you did then.
Sweetheart, tell them about the ATV. Me and you. Tell them about the ATV.
That was our first time ever on a 4-wheel ATV vehicle, and we rode through dust, dirt. Now, normally,
and rivers.
I can't, oh my God, I can't take this. No, turn around. But I was determined. Y'all, I reached it. And the spirit gave me an idea. The spirit brought to my remembrance, you got a mask in your bag. I reached in my bag, put my mask on. I was like, let's go. Dust and dirt was everywhere. But we were going through, up and down and on the edges, and ATVing through water to the
Rivers.
through rivers. Now, can I tell y'all that was very scary because
very.
When you're coming from the water on back onto the dry land, your ATV will dip.
Yep.
like you get ready to go over.
Yep.
And man, I was on that thing leaning like we ain't going over. No, but we kept going, and it was scary and exciting and exhilarating all at the same time.
All at the same time.
It breathed new life into us as individuals and as a couple, because we experienced that together. So don't think that now you get to reimagine what your life can look like, and don't get stuck on the past or in regret.
Oh man.
And forgiveness is absolutely necessary and key.
Yeah, and the biggest one you have to forgive is yourself.
Yep. Well, honey, this was amazing.
Amazing, as always. I'm so sweet. I'm so proud of you. You have found your niche,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just a niche. It's so helpful to us baby boomers, and the generation coming behind the baby boomers. You will not exhaust this calling, this ministry you have to the pause.
I love it. To the cause of the pause.
Call to the cause of the pause.
And
call to the cause of the pause.
And let me say, on February 26, 2024, at whatever time it is that it's time for us to get off. But I need y'all to encourage the hubby to know that hubbies need this ministry as well.
Absolutely.
If we're not talking about it, they're not talking about it. So it's important. Let me remind you, sisters, to save the date, September 20th and 21st, 2024. We are headed to our Serenity Experience 2024 Grown Woman Things. We're talking well, worthy, and wealthy, working on and confirming some speakers for our time together. We're going back to the Pearl Modern Spa and Boutique. Our hotel will also be Meriwether Lake House Hotel right there in Columbia, stone's throw away from the Pearl. And you know how we do. We're going to start about 1:30 this year, and you know how we do, and you know how quick their schedule gets. So go ahead and between 9 and 1 or 9 and 12, schedule you some spa services or a movement class, or check in to the hotel. Make it a weekend. It's going to be amazing. In the
husbands, if you're watching this replay, treat them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about that.
Be their sponsor. Be their sugar daddy. Come on, husbands, be their sugar daddy.
Ask your sugar daddy for your money, because this is gonna be a greater investment this year, because we want to make sure we're doing it right. This year, so make sure you get prepared for that. You need $100 to register to hold your spot, and you can even do that in 2 payments, right? $50 and then another $50 to make sure you have held your spot for the Serenity Experience 2024. It is going to be phenomenal.
Sweetheart, I must say this in front of everybody. I'm going to provide one scholarship for a sister that needs a scholarship. She needs to be a part of this. She has to experience this, but she's dealing with some things. So I'm going to provide the scholarship, and you give it to whoever the Holy Spirit leads you to.
I love it. Thank you, honey. That's so amazing and so sweet. I love it. We're going to do that. That's just, he's trying to work up on something, y'all. So,
Man,
and y'all know we do Minnow Lounge, and we're gonna do Minnow Lounge on the move. So I'm working on something for spring, for a rebirth coming out of this winter season. We always like to support a Black business, so I'm looking to do something around April 28th. So put that on your calendar. And then my friend Vanessa Elam Burns does amazing healing hikes. So for my birthday, one of the things around my birthday, I'm going to do a healing hike with her. And if you're interested in doing that with me, let me know. We're going to do a healing hike together. So I'm excited. Thank y'all for joining us for Fourth Mondays in the meditation room with the Hazes for Love is Midlife Marriage Conversations. I invite you to tell your friends to watch the replay. If you're watching it without your spouse, get your spouse and then watch the replay. And let's grow
talk
together
about it.
and let's reimagine who
Yeah.
we are and what our life can be in this amazing season of our lives. Love y'all. Have a great night. Talk to you soon. See you
Love
next
y'all.
time. Bye.
See ya.